Well, hello, and welcome to another segment of the It Works Man Show. I'm Rob Dawson, and this is a perfect time to be with It Works Global. So whoever invited you to this call, they have your best interests in mind. And, we do these calls once a month for the guys out there and for the women to, understand the men a little better, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And, every month I get successful guys on here to give their point of view on how they got started and, talk about the value they seen and It Works Global like myself. If you're a distributor and you are a male distributor and you're not in the man cave, reach out to us, let us know. We'll get you in there. If your significant other is a distributor and you're still not in the man cave, reach out to us. We want you in there. We want you to bond and get to know some of the guys who are actively working the business day in and day out. So tonight, I'm honored to have two great guys on here with me. I have Presidential Corey Garrison. Corey, you there?
Yep, I'm here, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to the fellas.
Absolutely. And we also have Presidential Michael Safantes on here. Michael, you there?
I am here, Rob.
Good to hear from you. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start. Corey, you want to let the people know how you got involved in this, or, as I usually say, how It Works found you?
Rob, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry about that, man. My phone cut out a little bit. Can you say that again?
I said, I'm gonna have you just get on here and talk to the people about how It Works found you, so to speak.
Okay, awesome. Well, my story, like a lot of us guys, starts with our significant other. I'm recently married, so rewind back to November of 2012. I was successful in my regular 9-to-5 doing telecom sales. And my girlfriend at the time, wife now, was a HR personnel at the state government here in Maryland. So I get a phone call, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna, go to a rap party tonight." And I'm like, "What the heck is a rap party? Like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, wouldn't you just rather come right home? Like, why, what are you doing? What is that? You're gonna spend money there? Like, that makes no sense." So long story short, maybe about, an hour and a half, 2 hours after she usually is supposed to come home, she comes in and she's like, "I'm going to start a business." And me being in sales, I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute, like, what is this? Like, slow down. Like, they got you all excited, but, pump your brakes for a second." And the only thing that she kept reiterating over and over again was, the lady that hosted the rap party, she didn't do anything at all besides talk to us, and there was $200 cash in that jar, within an hour and a half later, and she got results from the product. So she was gung-ho. She started her business, and I didn't know much about it, but what I saw immediately was people were excited. And that's all you need is to have a product that excites people. So, Rob, you and I are from basically the same area, right? And
right.
So imagine, November, December 2012. It's cold. It's like 30 degrees. It's snowing. And I would literally have 2 to 3 people lined up outside my front door waiting for her to come home from work to get wrapped, standing in the cold, And I'm like, hey, like if these young ladies are going to stand in the cold and come into the apartment and get whisked away to the back bedroom and get whisked back out the door 10 minutes later, and there's money that's been exchanged in that time frame, and they're laughing and giggling and smiling, I got to get in on this. I got to see what the fuss is all about.
Right.
But I was a little stubborn. I just saw all women. So I was like, it looks real good. I'm happy she's doing it, but it's just like a ladies thing. I kind of had that negative conversation with it a little bit.
Right.
Fast forward to February the following year, so after we get over the holiday break and everything, I went ahead and joined. And it was funny because, we were just talking about this when we went to One Team One Mission in Virginia Beach. I thought that once you made 6 figures, that was kind of life. Like once you crossed over into that 6-figure income, which is what I was able to accomplish doing telecom sales, that's it. Like, you just live out the rest of your life, get married, have kids, have a fence, get a dog, and that's it. Right. I didn't know or I didn't understand that, you can make well beyond that. You can do 7 figures, you can do 8 figures, you can do anything that you want. So starting in the business, we had really, really modest goals. Our plan, this was our plan, it's so funny now, but our plan was I would sign up and we would be Ruby by the end of the year. I would be the executive, she would be the Ruby. This is February, we plan to do that, by December. Well, there was a different plan that was set out for us. And what happened was within 90 days, 82 days later, I had promoted from distributor to diamond, earned my 10K bonus. And that same time frame, she had gone from distributor to triple diamond, okay? So she earned her 10K, she earned her 25K, and she had retired from her job, okay? So at this point, things have gotten real. Money's coming in, like, left and right. Like, it's an abundance of wealth. And all we're doing is marketing to folks, belly to belly and through social media, and they're excited to consume this product from us, And it didn't matter that I was a guy. It didn't matter that it was a predominantly women audience that I was marketing to. They wanted the product. If you can solve a need that they have, they don't care who they get it from. It can be you, me, the neighbor down the street. It doesn't matter. It could be Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. If you can solve a need, they're gonna come to you and they're gonna get that product from you. Fast forward another couple of months, I went triple within 5 months. Fast forward here to now, we are completely debt free, which is awesome because we're in sync with what our company is about. We've met wonderful people. We got to meet Michael and Adrian on our second honeymoon, maybe around 4th of July or so. Rob, we've bumped into you. We met up with you a few times at different events. We got married. We had a dream wedding in Mexico. We had 2 honeymoons, like I mentioned before. Tomorrow, actually, we're going to the walkthrough. We had a brand new house built, brand new dream house built. We're doing the walkthrough tomorrow, and closing is Friday. So this is what, in the less than 2 years that we've been in this business, this is what this company and this opportunity has allowed for us to do so. And I definitely want to speak to the fellas here, be hands-on. This isn't just a ladies' thing. This isn't just, your spouse's thing. This is a you guys thing. This is an everybody thing. So make sure you guys grab the bull by the horns, and just ride it out, man, because it'll change your life.
Absolutely, man, and that is an awesome story. And I think it's safe for us to. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, but I think it's safe to say that these are things you never would have achieved, even with that sales job. Not like the freedom you have today.
Not at all, because here's the thing, man. Like I basically telecommute to work. So I have a work phone, like a cell phone that they give me. Folks will call, I'll talk to customers, I'll close orders, and I can do that from home, so I don't have to, wake up and go through rush hour and get somewhere by 8:30, 9 o'clock and check out at 5, okay? But the caveat to that is I'm always working. Like my work phone could ring at 7 a.m. in the morning or 10 p.m. at night, and, it didn't matter if it was Monday or Saturday or Sunday. So I may have the flexibility to not be, constricted to an office setting, but mentally, I'm always on. I'm always there. I'm giving everything to them all the time. It's hard. I mean, think about it. It's hard to plan something on the weekends or plan something, on a Friday night or evening party or something, because there's always that opportunity that phone can ring in the middle of the night or the middle of the day, and that's going to take you away from your family, your loved ones, and the things that you want to do.
Right. Absolutely, man. And, like I said, that story is just amazing how it works changed you guys' life. And, we're not even done yet. We haven't even got started. And I think that's
the surface.
I think that's the most crazy thing about it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Most definitely. So, Mike, same thing with you. You want to tell us how it works for you guys?
Absolutely, Rob. Well, I remember back to January of 2013, and Adrian and I happened to be sitting around, and we both were trying to think of ways that we could create streams of passive income. And, we're sitting there racking our brains, and as I'm talking about it, she looked over at me and she said, "Babe, I think I may have found something." And, she had been in the business for a little bit of time, but given that we were living in different cities at the time, I didn't always see her day-to-day activities. I know obviously she was still going to work at the time at her corporate job, but she was also working diligently at night to build this business that she had found, this amazing wrap thing that she kind of stumbled upon while at a doctor's appointment. So as we brainstormed a little bit more and she told me a little bit more about the business, I was instantly intrigued. I have a former broker, real estate broker in New York, so sales was my background. And as she told me about it, I was like, wow. It was like, it's an amazing product. Obviously, there's a great demand for it. So, sure, I'm interested. And I think initially it came about as more of a, hey, I want you to support me in this. And I said, no, I'm not just going to be a customer. I want to dive in as well. And I don't think there was ever really a point that I thought about the business as a female-centric. I saw it as a product that anybody could use, not just the body applicators, but the full line of It Works products. And I was like, hey, I'm in sales, why not give it a shot? It's really about sharing the product with as many people as you can. And, really that's all it's about. The product speaks for itself. And, once people get it on them and try the wrap, or any of the products really, it speaks for itself. So, I don't think there was any apprehension on my part, just getting out there and really talking to people because, again, it was a great product and I knew there was going to be interest in it. And I was right. I didn't want to let my preconceived notions or, what I thought about, guys not being able to really work the business. We call that dumb luck. It was just one of those things that I just, kind of said, I'm going to dive right into it. And it worked. Not to be, but it's obviously it's an amazing product that's changed all of our lives. I can't even begin to explain how it's changed both of our lives. I think from the point of that conversation, my wife retired 3 months later from her corporate job of 18 years, and I was able to walk away from my real estate career probably about maybe 5 or 6 months later. And at this point, we've moved to Florida. We've started building our dream house, which we'll be moving into next spring.
Wow.
Life has changed dramatically. I mean, owning, as Corey alluded to, being able to own your own time and being able to kind of plan out things as you'd want them and not really having to plan around your work schedule is an amazing thing. True freedom is owning your own time, and I can't stress enough how that's really changed the way we look at things. The idea of dreaming bigger and having goals that I think may have gone away a little bit, working our, normal 9-to-5 corporate, type of situation. So the product, has really changed the company has changed our lives, and, I'm forever thankful for It Works.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a little about myself is, my fiance had stumbled across it several years ago, just skimming through Facebook, and she's seen a girl comment and make a negative comment and say, well, that wrap didn't work for me. And the girl responded and said, well, did you drink your water? And the girl hadn't drunk much water. So, she was like, well, you need to drink your water. And my fiance, Misty, was looking at it and she said, well, I'm a waterholic. I drink water all the time. So if you can put this thing on for 45 minutes, drink some water and see some results, then, I need to try this out. So she got one, tried it, and the next day she could button pants she couldn't button the day before. So she made a post on Facebook and said, I can button pants I couldn't button the day before trying this crazy wrap, and it blew up and went nuts. Everybody's like, what is it? Order me one, order me two. And we were struggling. Our situation was quite the opposite. We were struggling. Food stamps and all. She was staying at home. I was a contractor, and, I did what I did, but, every day was stressful. I just didn't enjoy it at all. But I had to do what I had to do. So, everybody was knocking down the door. Like Corey said, we had people coming. I know the neighbors were thinking, like, what do they got going on over there? People keep coming to this door. So, she said, you know what? People done gave me the money ahead of time. They gave me money up front. Just said, give me one when you get it. So she said, I might as well start a business with this. So she decided to start a business, and she started that business free of cost. People said she had more than enough to buy her kit, and at that time it was $2.99 to join. Right now it's only $99. So she did that, and she never looked back. Now, getting me involved was another story. I seen women jumping around saying, "Oh yeah, stretch marks, this will be great. Get rid of those," and and I was just like, "Now how's a man going to fit into this? Like, I don't see myself up in the middle of this, So I would never listen to any of the corporate calls. So one night, she was smart enough to play it out loud. I heard a man speaking who was a good friend and mentor of mine right now. It was Rusty Lackey, but at the time I didn't know who he was. I didn't care, But I heard him say, I could stop doing it works right now, and I got enough money for my family to live the rest of our lives. And I was making a bowl of cereal. I almost dropped the bowl of cereal. I turned around so fast, and I said to her, now see, now I know this is bogus. They're paying him to say that. There's no way. I've never even heard of anything like that. I got enough money to live the rest of my life. That just wasn't a reality for us. So, she was headed to green carpet to get a pin for her double diamond promotion. So I decided to go along. Went down there, and at the time, again, like I said, there was probably 20 to 30 guys in that room. It was a small green carpet, only a few hundred people there, and it was on Mark's golf course. And I didn't interact with people much. I didn't even want to be bothered. I wanted to just go back to the hotel room or something. So we took a tour of the office the next day, and she took her moment. I was shaking the CEO's hand in his office, and I wanted to run back out because I really didn't want to even be in there. But she said, Mark, he'll take the greens. He knows our products are great, but that's all he'll do. He will not get involved. Well, the CEO of this company started squeezing my hand really hard, and he got my attention. I'm like, what is this guy doing? So I made eye contact with him. I didn't say anything, but my eyes were like, what are you doing? He said, you're not leaving out of this office till you get on board. We're going big places. We're doing big things, and you're going to want to be here. He said, you see that golf course you went on last night? I paid $2 million and some change cash because it's a hobby for me, just because I like it. Well, after that, he had my full attention, and there was no way I was coming back, to where we were. And, not looking at things differently. So, again, it changed our life. Fast forward. We live in a neighborhood. All our neighbors are doctors and lawyers, and they're intrigued at our lifestyle. I had a gentleman come up to me as I put our kids on the bus, and he said to me, I can't explain it. The only way that I can define this is that you own your time. I'm pushing my kid on the bus, grabbing my briefcase, doing 60 miles an hour to work, and you just go back in the house. I just can't understand it, So, I dripped on them a little bit about the business, and that's the thing. Your lifestyle will show. When you make a dramatic change like that and you live free, your lifestyle will show. I had to stop listening to those broke people, those negative people. Oh, guys don't do that. You don't see no guys doing that. Well, today you don't have that excuse because there's many guys doing this and doing it successfully. So I want to go back to you, Corey. Any advice for the guys listening? Like, Corey, how do I fit into this? This just doesn't seem like something I can do. I don't see myself putting a rap on nobody.
Okay. That's a real easy question. So I'll answer it in a couple of different parts. You and I talked a couple of days before we hopped on a call, and one thing that you said to me we both agreed on is money's green, okay? Right. Money doesn't wear a dress. Money doesn't wear pants. Money's green, okay? So with that green paper money, you can do whatever you want to do with it, okay? The other way that I'll answer that question is if you got enough mustard to get yourself on this call, okay? We're talking to guys across the country tonight, probably in different countries, okay? If you got enough mustard to get on this call tonight, you have enough mustard to know that this business is popping. This business is going places. You know, we're on the verge, you know, of becoming a $1 billion brand. You want to be a part of that, okay? We're in a health and wellness business. People always will gravitate towards health and wellness, okay? It doesn't matter if you just had a baby. It doesn't matter if you are 50 years old, if you're a tall, short, big, small man, woman. We have a product for you, okay? And you're able to get an instant result from it. You know, we live in a microwave society. You know, if you want to know the answer to something, you go hit up Google. You know, you're not going to the encyclopedia and flipping through the chapters. You know, you want instant results. We can provide that, okay? Now, the other thing that I want to speak to the guys is something that, you know, I personally, it's something that's very personal for me. And it's a quote that I came up with, and I hope that it resonates with you guys as much as it resonates with me. And it's be a man and not a mannequin, okay? And what I mean by that, it's no longer good enough. It's no longer good enough for you to be a spouse and to wash the dishes and watch the kids while your significant other is trying to build this business. It's not good enough anymore, guys. You need to be, you know, knees deep, elbows deep, ankles deep into it, because no one cares about the income in your household like you and your spouse. No one else has your back like your spouse does. So build this business with your spouse. Be one with that, okay? You know, if you look at the company, if you look at Mark and you look at Mike, these are guys. These are guys just like you and I and Mike. We can do this. We can do this business. If you look at the success that we've all had on this call, you know, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to us. We saw an opportunity. We saw a good opportunity. And we grabbed the bull by the horns and we just took off. And you guys that are on this call, you can do the same thing. Because like you said earlier, Rob, we just scratched the surface. The surface has just been scratched, man. It's just been scratched. There's so much more. You walk around whatever town in USA that you're from, and if you ask 10 people, have you tried that crazy rap thing? Or have you heard of it works? 8 of them will tell you no. That's 8 potential customers you have right there. You just got to open your mouth and get out there and speak with them.
That's true. Absolutely. Thanks for those valuable gems, because that is very true, you know. And we're growing at light speed. Everybody wants this. Not everybody needs it, but everybody wants it. So, Mike, one thing from your story that is obvious is that your wife, Adrian, went to work. You know, that was part of a defining factor, you know, seeing her success and seeing her go to work with this business. So, you know, if a woman was to approach you and say, Mike, you know, I can't get my significant other to see the value in this, what advice would you give her?
Well, first of all, you know, the power of 2 is always greater than the power of 1. In whatever way or shape that is for, you know, anybody, find out what you do best and do it well. You know, I think about Adrian's situation, you know, and, you know, while she's, you know, out in the forefront, you know, a lot of the time, by no means does that mean that, you know, like Corey said, I'm sitting at home washing dishes or doing the laundry, and that being my support. We both have an integral role in building our business, and whether that means every single person that I meet out in the streets that I talk to, I'm sharing the business with them. I want them to know about the product, and I also want them to know that, you know, whether you're a guy, girl, whatever, there's something that It-Works has for you. Yes, the Ultimate Body Applicator is our flagship product, but there is a product in our catalog for every single person, young, old, skinny, tall. There really is something for everybody. You know, you take greens, for example. You can't tell me there's a single person out there that doesn't need 8 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, right, or someone that, you know, that actually gets them. So it is a product that anybody can use. You know, it's not something that's geared toward, you know, a particular sex. But, you know, just to I guess to dive a little bit further into how we build this together, again, you go with your strong suit. I like to work with technology and do a lot of the web stuff, whether that's Facebook updates, Instagram, or doing videos for our own YouTube site. You have to find out what works for you, and like I said, those are things that I do well, and I try to offer as much as I can in that department, on top of the fact that I'm sharing the product with everybody who I know, everybody who I come in contact with. So, find what it is that works for you. Not everybody's going to be the person who's going to be out there, putting raps on people or doing rap parties, whatever. But whatever it is that you do it consistently and do it well. Working together again is the key to really building this business. It's great to be a support, and to stand behind your woman, but working alongside her is the best thing that you can do. And finding your way to do that is really the route to take with this business.
Right, and I love that advice, because, your woman can do so much more, with the support that, you guys give them, and
absolutely.
And I'm a sole believer in that. And to everyone listening, I just want you to think about who owns your time. If someone's still signing your checks, because if they stop signing those checks, what are you going to do? You got to have a plan B. And we all decided to make moves and to invest in that plan B. And now nobody can jeopardize our time. We own our time. We don't show up to work for nobody else. Anything we do directly affects us. We control our money, and that's something important to think about. I heard one of my favorite speakers talking about, the change at Target and Walmart. Look at how they have the automatic checkouts now. There's less cashiers there. Corporations are cutting back. They don't want to keep paying people for something they can just oil up a machine to do. So think about it. There is no such thing as job security. You've seen the government lockdown. People went to swipe their cards and get in, and they didn't know they lost their job until they went to work that morning and couldn't get in the building. And back in the day, they used to say, "Oh, you have a government job, you're set for life. Oh, you're straight." So use that as an example. We're building a legacy here, and we'd love for you to join us. So whoever invited you on this call, get back with that person. They really care about you, and they want to build a legacy with you. And Corey and Mike, I appreciate you guys tonight, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for the invite, Rob. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Get back with the person who got you on this call, and we'll talk to you next month. Good night.